Costume change. I had to come back another day to finish this one up. So we want to get this one in standard form. So we're going to be doing completing the square. So I'm going to start by grouping up my stuff. So I got the x's, so 32x. Now I'm going to do something a little weird. I'm not going to put that other thing in. You'll see why in just a sec. Got the y, so y squared minus 2y. I'm not going to group it up. And then we're going to take this 61, we're going to throw it to the other side. Now, that 4 is causing us a little trouble. If we think to what our equation should look like, an ellipse, it shouldn't have anything on the inside there. It should just be a regular x. And rather than waiting till the end to deal with it, we're actually going to deal with it right now. I don't want that 4 with the x, so I've got to factor it out. So it becomes 4, and then x squared. And then that 32 gets divided by 4, so that is a number that is 4? No, 8. 8. Oh boy. 8x plus something. And the red one is fine. We don't have to worry about anything bonus there. So y squared minus 2y plus something. And that equals negative 61. Okay, now we can do our little formulas. So we do 8, our b, over 2 squared. So 8 over 2 squared, so that's 4 squared, which is 16. But when we're putting that into our equation, we don't want to put 16. We want to put, well, we're going to put a 16 here, I should say. But when we put it on the other side, we're not just going to put a 16. See how this 16 is inside of, oh, cat. See how that 16 is inside of the parentheses? Well, it needs to be inside of a parentheses over here as well with a 4. Normally she leaves me alone, but this is exciting for her, I guess. Same thing over here. We got to do negative 2 over 2. Our b over 2, we're going to square that. So that is negative 1 squared, which is 1. Now, that 1 is just a 1. There's nothing in front of that parenthesis, so we don't need to multiply that by something. So now that we're all set to kind of like write this thing out, we write our little pairs. So it's b over 2 squared plus the other piece, which is y minus 1, b over 2 squared. And then on the end here, we've got negative 61 plus 4 times 16 plus 1. So that's 32. It works out to be 4. No, no, no. Oh, she's getting mad. So 4. I'm going to have to cut here. Okay, I think she's gone. Now we've got to get that denominator stuff because we don't want that 4 inside of the parentheses. We kind of want it in the denominator. We want little denominator things. And in particular, we want that 4, this 4 right here on the very end. That one is supposed to be a 1. So what can you divide 4 by to make it 1? That's 4. So we're not doing it because of what that 4 is. We're trying to turn this into a 1. So we end up with 1, y minus 1 squared over 4 equals, these two 4's cancel, and we're left with just an x plus 4 squared. But the ellipses are always with fractions, so we'll just put it over a 1, just so that we know we can see it a little bit easier. That's it for getting something in standard form. Okay, so in this one, we want to try to write the standard form and the general form of this equation. So if I just kind of like think roughly about what's going on, my vertices are going to be up there, negative 6, 0, negative 6, and 0, 6. And our foci are going to be something like there. So that's telling me that I have a vertical major axis. That's going to be important deciding if I want to do the top part or the bottom part of my box. I also don't care about the length of that major axis. That's going to tell us our A. So our major axis is 2 times whatever our A value is. In this case, our a value, our major axis is 12. It's 12 to get from one side to the other. So to figure out what a is, you just divide by 2. So a equals 6. We also know where our vertices are. Our vertices can help us find h and k. So our vertices is going to change depending upon which one we're doing. We have a vertical major axis, so I'm looking at this one. So I want to use this equation right here, h comma k plus or minus a. All right. And our vertices were at 0 and then plus or minus 6. So if it's at 0, that's h. So now I've identified what a is. I've identified what h is. And we can use this idea that since we already know what a is, it's 6. We could put a 6 here. So what plus or minus 6 is plus or minus 6? Well, 0 again. So that should be our k. Again, what I did is we had plus or minus 6 equals k plus or minus 6. So what would fit in that equation? Finally, we still have to figure out, so we've got a, we've got h and k. We still have to figure out what our b is. In order to figure out what our b is, we're going to use that little goofy kind of Pythagorean theorem thing, c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So our a value is 6, so we got 6 squared. Or I can't get the right color. Minus b squared, and we know what our c value is. Oh, nope, I haven't gotten my c value quite yet. So my c value are at my foci, so I better grab that. So there's a reason we got these foci. Foci are where? Foci are at h comma k plus or minus c. All right, did that a little out of order. So our foci are at 0 comma plus or minus 5. I kind of pare that down a little bit. So we already know what h and k are. They're 0 and 0. So 0 plus or minus what is going to be 5? Well, 5. So c has to be 5. All right. We'll plug that in. So here we've got 5 squared. We end up with 25 equals 36 minus b squared. After you do a little bit of solving, b equals the square root of 11. Notice I just used the positive case for that one. Since I only need positive values for b, we're not going to use anything negative. But I did skip that plus or minus. But hey, I'm just trying to save time. All right, now that we know what all of our letters are, we know A, we know B, we know C. Get out of my way. We know A, we know B, we know C, so we just need to copy this formula right here and plug in the numbers where they belong. So we got x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared, which equals 1. So our h and k are zeros, so just x squared and x and y squared, boring. And then our a squared is 6 squared, which is 36. And our y squared is going to be over b squared. So if we square the square root of 11, we get 11. That equals 1. Done. Now that's standard form. I still want to write general form as well. So for general form, oh, come on, don't freak out on me, buddy. For general form, I need to get rid of my fractions. So I'm going to start by multiplying both sides. So this, yeah, we got standard right here. If we want to get rid of those fractions, I'm going to get rid of that 36 first, because why not? So then we've got x squared plus 36y squared over 11 equals 36. Then I got to get rid of that divide by 11, so I'll multiply both sides by 11. All I'm trying to do is just get rid of the fractions and try to make it look like this big messy thing on the bottom here, that all multiplied out version. Multiply all your stuff. We get x squared, 11x squared, I'm distributing. (36y squared) equals 396. Now, goofy thing about general form is we always have it equal 0, so I'm going to bring this 396 over. We get 11 squared plus 36y squared minus 396 equals 0. And that is general form. If some idiot wants general form for some reason or another. Standard form is way better. This form is the better form to have stuff in. But if somebody wants general form, maybe me, that's the form you need it in. That's it for writing formulas for today. Thank you for watching all the videos and have a good day.